If I think about the ways you make me smile, I'd be sitting here and smiling for a while. Although I know I make you cry sometimes, your happiness is ever on my mind. I cannot repay for everything you've done, but my love for you burns brighter than the sun. No matter where my feet and mind may go, my heart will lead to you and you alone. Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave your shore. A paradise so wondrous to behold, a work of art, your heart is gleaming gold. They sail the waters, soar above the trees, to find the gem between the mountains and seas. Your children know we try, though we may fall. We stand united now to heed your call. Our fathers fought the fights for liberty. Forever I'll defend Guyana free. Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave your shore. Forevermore. Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave your shore. Rise up for your land. Rise up, won't everybody stand? Rise up for your land. Rise up, won't everybody take a stand? Rise up for your land. Rise up, won't everybody stand? Rise up for your land. Guyana,
A wonderful good night to each and every one of you. And it's a pleasure being here, sharing this time once more with you. It's Monday, first day, or for a matter of fact, the second day. I can't say the first day, but it's the first working day of the week. So I'm here again, and I want to say thank you to each and every one that are locked in. And I will first ask you to do the honor by sharing the live both on Facebook. I'm live on Facebook right now, and you can find me on Kevin Ian Larma. You can find me on Comrade Kevin Larma. You can find me on Kevin Larma. You can find me on Shivani Larma. You can find me on Guyana, South America. You can find me on the Rap, and you can also find me on YouTube. So if you're having difficulties at one account, keep checking all these accounts and you can find me there. And also you can find me as Indigenous Ambassador on TikTok. So thank you for the persons who would have just followed me on TikTok as well. It's an honor to have you here tonight. And guys, please share the live because we have a few things we want to touch on here tonight. So first, I will start with Facebook. And let me take the opportunity in saying good night to Omar Sharif. You know, I always say that I have to give Omar Sharif a call because this is a person never miss my life. And this is a person who is always the number one person or the first person for matter of fact that is on my life. So Omar, thank you once again. Azim Ali, good night to you, my brother. And I see I have Dio Budwa. Good night to you, Dio. Rajan Datadin, good night to you. And we have Moonshine, Matadia, good night to you. Taris O'Brien, Peggy Ram Singh, Alexa Lewis, Ditnarain, is it? Ditnarain, Prahalad, good night to you. Kamaraj Prasad, Sister Ryan Samaru, Normila Allen, all the way from Trinidad, right? Is that right, Normila? Ditnarain Dunan Suku, and most of all, Stanley Hamilton, good night to you. One of my warriors here, always ready to battle. Kamaraj Prasad, good night. Natasha Thomas, I have McKay, Kyle Smith, Teresa Ferreira, good night to you. Teresa, Lisa Williams, and Susan Dixon. Or please do looking for it. Omar, I will give you a shout. Tonight, self, I'm going to give you a shout. So on TikTok as well, I want to say good night to Alicia. Alicia, good night to you. Let me see who else. I see I have Padmani. Good night to you. And Padmani Shikan. I see Shakila. I see Ferdinand Williams. Good night to you, my brother. Jasmine or Jamila Khan. Good night to you. So all those on TikTok that are tuning in as well, thank you so much for the follow and thank you so much for being here. Well, tonight, we have a couple of things we want to touch on, but I will deal in. I would like to be, or for matter of fact, I will be dealing with a specific document because I want to, highlight to you. I want to bring to your attention, and also most of all, I want to help you understand, right? And as usual, I ensure that I get the facts before. And more so based on this topic tonight, it's not just getting the facts, but it's more so of a situation or what I should say. I was a part of it. So I can explain to you exactly what happened. So despite all the negatives that are surrounding for the entire day today, I noticed I was featuring on Facebook a lot yesterday, last night, today, but thanks for the free advertisement. Like my superior, Honorable Bishop Juan Ejil, you normally said, "Oh, you're admiring me," but just in this case, you're admiring me awkwardly. So thanks. You guys have a lot of patience. You have a lot of patience, and I'm speaking to those on the other side, and I don't have time to highlight irrelevant people who trying to gain relevance off of somebody's situation or whatever. So, you know, nevertheless, I want to say good night again, and please share the live, guys. Please share the live. So the first thing I want to touch on before I go into my discussion tonight, today, for matter of fact, this afternoon it was brought to my attention by my wife of a post. Or for matter of fact, not a post. It was It was a live by Nigel London. I mean, a lot of course know Nigel London. Let me tell you something. I want to make this very clear, right? We can have differences, and I'm a person like this. Sometimes my wife will say this to me. She said, "But you got a lot of belly. You and these people is battle and got you out back and forth on Facebook, but yet you have the belly and the guts to approach these people and talk to them. It's like you don't frighten." She said these things, but I have no fear. I don't have one bit of fear. I always believe in freedom of speech, and I tell persons, when you come on Facebook, Facebook has become a very dark and dirty place right now, right? And once you come in on social media, right, you have to be prepared to take bashing likewise, or if you bashing people yourself. You see, but the thing about me, I don't come here with false information. I don't come here with propaganda and try to mislead my followers. I don't try to, you know, intimidate anybody. I don't tell lies to nobody. I ensure that I gather my information accurately. Sometimes I can tell you I might be misinformed, right? And people might come within the comments and say, "No, Kevin, it's not this and that." And I will take a step back and then I review it after the live or whatever, right? We never too big to learn, and we never too big to accept our faults and mistakes, and just correct it and move on. So at no time I don't promise anybody to come here. Boss lady, good night to you. Thank you for tuning in on TikTok. Right? I don't come here to mislead anybody. And we can have our religious differences, we can have our political differences, we can be a different ethnic groups, but that doesn't mean that we have to be enemies. We are all Guyanese, and we are all human beings. When we cut ourselves, it's blood. We'll see. And as well, um, I hope TikTok don't block me for this, because I was told that certain things you cannot say here on TikTok as well. Right? So have to be careful. Yes. So Nigel and I have our differences. Nigel chooses to speak out. Sometimes he go overboard, and me and him have back and forth on Facebook. But that doesn't mean that we're enemies. We're neighbors. We don't live far from each other. And I say this to say that this afternoon, I saw a live that was brought to my attention by my wife, by Nigel London, and this has to do with the situation at school. And I want people to understand what I'm saying here. Thank you so much, Johnny. Thank you so much for the hearts. Now, based on Nigel's live, and then I went and met with him after I saw the live, because, like I said, we were like about 5 minutes apart from each other. We're neighbors, right? Um, there is this individual, apparently sometime around 11 a.m. this morning at the school, the Wotukude Primary School. An individual, a male individual, ranging between, I average like in the early 50s, approached a grade 2 female student of the Wotukude Primary. And people that say, I'm so disgusted. Like, I don't know how to explain this. Anyway, the individual got in contact with the grade 2, and we talking about a grade 2 child. We talking about a child roughly 8 years old, right? Am I correct? About 8 years, 7 to 8 years. A grade 2 female student, and this man braced, the little girl, not a young lady, the little girl at that age, 7 or 8, a grade 2 student, braced her to the fence, and he was, kissing the little girl on her ears, and like trying to caress her on these things. Now, people, it's very dirty. It's very dirty, right? Um, and apparently the girl was going over to her. I think they said she have a sister that is in the nursery school. It's only a pathway that separates the primary and the nursery, right? And this individual went over, and she was going over to her sister or her brother, a sibling she have in the school. I don't have the full details, but I have the story, what happened, right? But I know what was clear is that this man, um, he got in contact with the little child, raised her up to the fence and nibbling on her ears and then kissing her up on these things, right? And the apparently the sibling saw that, and the sibling went to the teacher and called the teacher out and say to the teacher that my sister is with a stranger there. And the teacher ran out, and I was told when the teacher tried to approach him, he pulled out a sharp weapon from his waist, right? It's in Linden Mailing Homes. It's in Linden in Watuka Day Primary, right? And he pulled out the knife and attempted to, probably joke the teacher or something. And they apparently called for help and so on. Now, what is so disturbing in this situation? And sometimes I really don't like to, I don't like to, I don't want to use the term bash or to come after the Guyana Police Force, but then, I have to call it as it is. I am a member of the Guyana Police Force. I'm a sworn member of the Guyana Police Force. But that doesn't mean that certain things I'm going to cover up, because I'm still trying to understand that that incident was reported sometime 11 this morning, and allegedly, right? Please, y'all don't come after me. Allegedly, that incident was reported um since sometime 11 this morning, and the police never showed up to this afternoon. That is what was said to me, right? And if so is the case, and if this is accurate, I am so disappointed in the Guyana Police Force. And personally, as a concerned citizen, a resident of this community, and also a parent that has two children presently attending that school. I have a girl child. She is in grade 4. And I have my son. He's in grade 2. And I am concerned of what transpired here. This is not a case that we would want to point fingers at the security guard or the teachers, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's the teacher fault or oh, it's the security guard fault, because in the of the geographics of the surrounding of the school, the first thing that I was concerned is that the surrounding of the school that has a fence, there is an entrance and an exit that has no gate, and the security guard booth is way up the other side. So there's no way the security guard could have seen that, right? And again, I don't want to justify it for the security guard, because I don't believe of some of these schools, these security guards as well, sometimes they believe that they are just paid to sit down in that booth all day. And I believe that if you're paid as a security guard, you're supposed to be patrolling the compound frequently, not to sit in that booth all day, right? But then again, I don't want to jump on the security guard, but I'm just saying what I believe, right? Or I assume this is what a security guard is supposed to be doing. Frequently scanning the compound and ensure that it's safe, there is no breaches or anything, right? So I wouldn't point fingers at the security guard or the teachers. This is just unfortunate. But then again, it's a really sad situation, and it's even beyond sad. It's a very gross situation to know. Thank you so much, Beverly Prasad. It is so gross to know that a man within the age of roughly 50 years and over approach a child in that manner, a grade 2 child within the age range of 7 or 8. Now, as Beverly is on this live, Beverly, I want to throw up this picture, and I want person to help me identify this individual. And if you know him, and if by chance, even now as we speak, if you know or you would have seen this individual in your area, you can call me on 624 5454, you can call me, and I wouldn't let you call me on the 611-0200 number, right? Because I'm actually using that phone on TikTok right now because some persons are on TikTok here, right? So this is the individual. Let me throw up the picture. Now, if you have recognized this individual anywhere around your area, all right, as we speak, because based on what I was told, this individual head to the direction of going back into the mines area. He can either be in Old England, he can either be in Kamaka, he can either be in Three Friends Mines. Also, he can be heading in the direction of Ituni. Right? So if y'all recognize this individual, please immediately make contact with me or the nearest police station. And if y'all by chance have a team of people and you can apprehend them, I am giving you that permission publicly. And I can justify it if anything comes out of it. All I'm saying, y'all don't I don't want to use the term destroy. Y'all don't kill it. But I know if people catch it, they can brush it. According to them boys. I know you can get brushed. This one over sure. Right? But once y'all get in contact with him, y'all please hold him. Find some way. I tell you, I'll tie you up or something. I don't care if y'all anybody want to come after me for that. Right? I don't care. But for know that a big man of this age caressing a child at the age of 7, a little girl, that's a little child, that's a baby, and kissing the child up and caressing her. This people like these here, I don't want to hear that he's not in the song mind and all these things. I don't accept those nonsense because if you're not within a song mind, but you have a song mind to do something of that, then I know that you are capable of accepting what will be meted out to you. So if anybody knows this individual, and I'm speaking to the persons on for TikTok, I know I'm gonna upload that photograph on TikTok as well, in case y'all know the individual. But you can head over on Facebook right now, and you will see I have it up on my Facebook Live. Those are the persons from TikTok, right? If y'all know this individual and y'all know his whereabouts, immediately make contact with me. Or if you have contact to a close police friend or the commander of the region, you can make contact with him as well, right? Because we need to get him. We need to get him. And let me tell you something about this individual. He's not new to this. A couple of years back, this particular individual is somebody that I know by seeing around. This particular individual, I have a friend by the name of Michael Sukram. A lot of persons might know Michael Sukram. Michael Sukram, he's into bauxite. He's a contractor that strips bauxite for both sides. A couple of years back, Mr. Sukram had an operator, a young boy, that was operating a bulldozer that's in the same mines area over the other side on Wutuka, West Wutuka side. This individual, apparently the young man stopped the machine and take a rest after he would have finished eating. This individual here, this same individual here, approached the young man and tried to demand anal sex from him. Right? Literally tried to hold the young man down. The young man resisted. He took a piece of pipe that was in the back of the seat of the bulldozer and he lashed the young man to his head. The young man was hospitalized and he ran away. After we were told, Chevy, I see we have some trolls here with a set of crap. You can deal with them here on TikTok for me in the meantime. Because I don't have time for the negatives tonight. Right? This individual here lashed the young man to his head, bust his head, cut away the by head, and he ran away the bush. After we were told, myself and Mr. Sukram and a friend of mine from Spikeland, we get into a vehicle and we went looking for him and we went up the Ituni roadside. And there on the Ituni road, we ran into this man here. And he's in some mind because we drive up alongside him. This is why I said I know the individual. I recognize his face. We drive up alongside him. And Mr. Sukram said, Well, after based on how the boy identified the individual, right? Mr. Sukram just said to him, he said, why you lash my worker? Right? Remember, we weren't sure, but he just said, why you lash my worker with a pipe? And he said, no, it's not me lashing, it's the man attacked me first. But right away, that's how we know it was him. And Mr. Sukram jumped out of his vehicle, pulled his gun, but I literally I said, no, don't shoot the man. But he fired some shots behind him because he's a licensed firearm holder. But I'm gonna tell you this. If I am a fire don't let me prolong. Anyway, if anybody recognizes this individual, as I say again, please make contact with the nearest police station, or you can contact me immediately and we will sort this out. Right? We definitely will sort this out. Yes, guys. So that's it for that. And let us continue our program here tonight. So I have something that I want to touch on here tonight. And just hold a bit for me. All right. Let's see. Please share the live as you on here tonight, guys. So I have something I want to share with you here tonight. All right. Mailing homes. All right. So now tonight I have something I want to discuss with you. Well, first and foremost, I think 2 videos ago, people said 2 years ago, 2 months ago, 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to say 2 videos ago, I addressed a situation as it relates to Mr. Azruddin Mohammed. And I don't want persons to get me wrong, because I am by no means have the intention to attack Mr. Mohammed or anybody, but I address the situation as it is before me, or rightfully speaking, as how it is. Right? And I caution persons to say that so far, because I see a lot of persons saying that, oh, the man didn't even say that he running for elections, or the fact remain, the bottom line is that whether you twist it and turn it, Azruddin Mohammed cannot contest in a general and original elections. That's the bottom line. Right? Don't let me run away from the facts. Legally speaking. So, the reason I said this, there's a lot of persons, and those persons who turn out to meet with him, right? Those persons who turn out to meet with him, for some reason, you have to understand your position first, why you're turning out there, right? And you have to understand what are the motives behind it. And you have to understand as well, Nobody gives anything free. There's always a catch to it. There's always something in return. And if you reach out your hand for help, just know, like in my case, that someday, if not today, if not tomorrow, if not next year or the other year, at least even in 5 years, they will cuss you out about it. Like in my case. Right? And they will try to throw you up in the public. They will take your situation at that time. They will take your desperate situation and try to throw it up in the public. So all those persons who are receiving and believe that you will always be on the receiving end, just know that everything's, or for matter of fact, let me correct myself, everything, or every good thing, as people may say, every good thing must have an end. Right? And you just have to know that someday it will be thrown back in your face. And I want to say to you that the motives behind this is to have your vote. Now, I know a person is going to say, oh, well, if the man want to run and he want we vote and we don't mind giving it, yeah, y'all going to set up. All right? I know y'all going to set up. But the problem is not giving him the vote. The problem is two. One is that he cannot contest in an election. And two, if you give your support to him, you are technically giving your support to the AFC and the coalition by extent, which is the APNU AFC. And many persons refuse to accept this or see this. If you have a personal beef with Bar Jagdeo, if you have a personal beef with Irfan Ali, if you have a personal beef with any minister of government or the prime minister, that should not take you away or distract you from the bigger picture, which is your future, which is at stake, and your children's and your children's future that is at stake. There is always a common place for reasoning, right? We should always find that place where we can come to and we can reason. We don't have to hate upon each other and be upset with the system or the government or anybody in particular with the government. Right? You can share your opinions. You can agree to disagree. But that doesn't mean that you should have a personal beef with the People's Progressive Party Civic. You understand? And that doesn't mean that because you might not like Bar Jagdeo, you might not like the Prime Minister, you might not like the President. That does not mean that because you don't like some one of them, you're going to hate the entire party and you're going to jeopardize your future by throwing your support for the APNU AFC. Because the fact remains is that these same people now is wolf in sheep clothing. And these people are so desperate for power is that they're willing to do any and everything to gain power again. And the objective of gaining power is just to enrich themselves. We have seen it. We have lived in it. We experienced this in 2015 to 2020. We have seen the APNU AFC enrich themselves day by day, week by week, months by months, years within the 5 years. And they show no remorse, no respect, no love for the people of this country. Imagine their own support base. And I keep saying this because I live in a town that I assume predominantly APNU AFC or PNC. But that don't happen today, I can tell you that. Right? Grenada man, we can do, you can call in on the live if you want to ask a question. Right? So the point I'm actually getting to now is that giving your vote, just if, to the Mohammeds is technically giving your vote to the APNU AFC. Right? And you have to be very cognizant of the fact that these people are so desperate, like I would have said, that they are willing to do anything. Now, I would have said it on my program before. I want to answer this particular individual before I go. Now, Clint Thomas say, is there a law that bars him? Y'all listen to this. What is the role of a head of state? If you're a head of state, if you're a president of a country, and you cannot exit your boundary to travel to meet with other world leaders to discuss on international agreements, whatever that can contribute in growing your country, if you cannot go out and meet on world platforms with world leaders, then what sense does that make? You understand? So technically, you telling me that you are willing to jeopardize your future. You're willing to jeopardize an entire country because Guyana will end up in a state as Venezuela. Take it from me. Do your research, Clint Thomas. Is it Clint Thomas? Right? Do your research. So what I'm saying, I will said it on my programs many times before, that the decision that you make here can affect you in the near future. Right? Now, the other thing, let me tell you something. Even to my wife said it. And I don't beat around the bush. I like the job. I like the work that Mr. Muhammad was doing. Because apparently the picture I got, the man was doing charity, reaching out and helping people and so on. And anything reaching to help people, charitable, I love to see that. But I didn't know it had a catch behind it. And we're seeing it. And that's why I said, nobody gives anything for free. There's always something behind it. Now, this individual said it. Recently, I am not aligned to the PVP. I am not aligned to the PNC. I'm not aligned to the AFC. He said that publicly. But yet, we have a photograph surfacing with this individual in the presence of the leader of the AFC. And the AFC, the leader of the AFC, accompanied by another senior member of the AFC. And what they call it? Oh, they were seeking legal advice. You understand? Now your lies has been exposed. Now, what is my concern in that? My concern in that is that you are now technically falling in the gang of those who continue to lie to the people. You are now being seen amongst these people that failed an entire country. These people that had the opportunity to do good for a country, and now you have been find yourself in an entanglement. Understand? Now, I want to pull up a document on the screen. And I want persons to pay very keen attention to this. I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to break it down for you so you can understand. I know some of you would have seen it. I know some of you would have read it. But reading and understanding is two different things. Reading and comprehend is two different things. I'm not saying that, but it's not everybody would read and understand something. So this is a document that has been surfacing the internet, and it's dated on the 30th of March 2025. Georgetown, Guyana, for immediate relief to all media houses. Press statement. The National Committee, the NEC of the Alliance for Change, held a special meeting today, the 30th of March 2025, and approved condition for the coalition with the APNU. The meeting was held to specifically address the status of discussions between the APNU and the AFC on the formation of a coalition to contest the 2025 general and regional elections. Lead negotiator for the AFC, Alson Stewart, provided the meeting with a comprehensive report on the work done by both teams and exactly where talks currently stands. The meeting was chaired by party leader Nigel Hughes and was fully attended. The other two negotiators, which was the co-founder of the AFC, Kemra Ramdatan and Raphael Trackman, were present or also present at the meeting. After more than 4 hours of the robust, open, and candid discussion, the party passed the following resolutions. 1. The AFC will accept 60-40 split at all levels of government, with 60% of the positions being held by the representative of the APNU. Right? 60%. Let me get that clear for you. 60% of the positions being held by the representative of the APNU. Right? 2. Well, again, the 60-40 mean that 60% goes to the APNU and 40% goes to the AFC. Right? So the AFC getting 40%, while the APNU, I remember the APNU is made up of small parties, including the PNC. I think it was about 6 small parties. I can't remember all. Number two, the party from which the presidential candidate is named shall not be permitted to nominate or occupy position of the leader of the list. Right? So technically, they're saying to the PNC, because more likely they do understand that the PNC or the APNU, for matter of fact, will take control, and the leader of the list will comes from the APNU side, and more likely will be coming from the PNC. Remember, David Granger was the leader of the list, right? In number three, in keeping with the earlier unanimous decision of the NEC in January to this year, party leader Nigel Hughes shall be the party's presidential candidate. The meeting acknowledged the tremendous work done by the negotiating team and expressed in appreciation. The meeting further mandated the team to relay its resolution to the team from the APNU. Right? So let me break this down for you now. The AFC teamed up with APNU in 2011, and they contested in the 2015 regional and general elections. Now, the AFC, in the earlys when it would have launched, they had some form of relevance, I would say, respectfully. They had some form of relevance. They traveled to various more so riverine areas, Amerindian communities, and meet out with people. And I say fairly, they had a fairly support base, but not enough to beat the PNC, much less the People's Progressive Party. But they had a fair support base, right? And because of that fair support base, they utilized that to collate with the PNC, right? They utilized that support base to collate with the PNC because of their desperation and hunger for power, without even consulting their support base or their support bases in the respective constituency or regions or riverine areas or whatever, without even consulting and having the blessings of those people. Again, I want y'all to listen to this. The AFC teamed up with the PNC or the APNU to contest in 2015 general and regional elections without consulting and having the blessings of their support base because of their hunger for power. And because of that, the AFC becomes irrelevant in the coalition, in government. Because even as they go into government, they started to lose their support base immediately. Even senior members, for matter of fact, resigned from the AFC while they were in government, including Charandas Prasad. And if you ask me, how am I sure, or you may ask me, how you know the people lose their support base? I can tell you how I know they lose their support base is because After the rambling and the tangling with the AFC and the PNC, not the small parties, after the wrangling and the tangling with the AFC and the PNC, the AFC decided that here now, we're going to show y'all that we got power. So in the upcoming local government elections in 2018, we're going to contest the local government elections individually and not as a coalition. And the AFC contested in the region in the local government elections in 2018. And these people didn't even get one seat. And that alone proves to you that the AFC lost its support base, its relevance, since they collated with the PNC in 2015. And that alone speaks for itself that the PNC and the other small parties had no power. And that is where the brain of this country, the most senior politician of this country, the most brightest politician of this country, Bar Jagdeo, assessed that in 2018 and decided that after the local government election, we are going to file a no confidence motion. You understand? I'm saying this because I want persons to understand. I am breaking it down as fine as possible so you can actually understand what transpired. Right? The PNC and the AFC, or the coalition, they lost their support base even before 2018. So this wasn't anything about Chanda's sellout. Since in 2016, Chanda started encountering difficulties where he had no say in his own constituency that puts him in parliament. He could not represent his constituency because why? The PNC was dominating every single party in the coalition, including the AFC. The PNC took control of everything and dominated because why? The PNC had the majority in the coalition. So when they go to make a decision, it is always a unanimous decision because the PNC stood in solidarity of each other. So the Guyana Action Party, the Justice for All Party, and the AFC and the others, even if they collated, they could not have won the PNC in decisions making in parliament. Among themselves, in cabinet, for matter of fact, let me correct that. Right? I want you to listen carefully now because this is facts. I want you to understand. There was a decision at one time, this is just one of many, where they had a rambling with the PNC where they wanted to give a package, a retirement package, or an outgoing prime minister must have the package similar to what the president has. Well, we know there's a package when the president comes out of office, there are benefits that he or she will receive. So the PNC proposed that we're going to do that for the prime minister as well. The reason they had wanted that is because they wanted to set Hamilton Green right. They want to prepare a package so Hamilton Green can get something. That's how selfish was the PNC. They were thinking about themselves. So members of the AFC said to them that, look, if you're going to make a decision of such, why not let us give packages to all those retired senior persons, including headmasters and headmistresses. Right? And the PNC said, no, we looking after retired prime ministers. And they went ahead and made that decision without the support of the AFC. Because why? They had the majority of votes. Apart from that, and we would have seen it even right down to when the APNU AFC was kicked out of government, where the Commonsburg Accord would have agreed on. And the Commonsburg Accord is being signed between the APNU and the AFC, that the first highest seat will go to the PNC, and the second will go to the AFC, and then the others for the other little small fries party, because that's what they used to call the small parties, the small fries. Literally, that was the words. Right? Right down to 2020 when they get booted out, what happened? The PNC shows the true colors there, as they were doing right through from 2015 to 2020. They took every seat, all the senior seats. They took the chairman and the vice chairman's seat. They took the mayor and the deputy mayor's seat. Nothing the AFC got. In some areas, the AFC didn't even get a seat. The WPA was kicked out completely. No seat. The Guyana Action Party, of which I was the general secretary of, kicked out completely. Not even one seat. The PNC plays a dictatorship role in the coalition. Them man completely dog out the AFC. You understand? Completely dog them out. Now, why I explain this to you is because I want those supporters, those people who for some reason tell themselves that, oh, I'm going to throw my support behind Mohammed. And you can see, well, again, let me clarify this. There is no proof or anything you would have said he's contesting. And then it's highly unlikely, I know, that he cannot contest. Right? But if so be the case, and those persons decided that you're going to throw your support behind it, then you will be led to the slaughterhouse. Because the AFC only hope right now, the AFC don't have no support base. The AFC themselves, among themselves, they have big problem right now. Big problem. Because you saw Sherrod Duncan come out and say that Nigel Hughes are not capable enough to lead a coalition. Sherrod Duncan come out and say that today. Now, Nigel Hughes is the head or the leader of the AFC. Sherrod Duncan, who's an executive member, he come out and lash his own leader to say that he's not competent to run a coalition. So the AFC has been technically using my friend Azruddin as the prospector, or they gave him a prospecting license where he's going into communities and feeling the ground. Let me see who will come out and support me. Let me see who will come to meetings. And this is how he's running all over the place. Because the AFC wants to gain relevance through another man's hard work, input, and resources. Because the AFC doesn't have resources as well. You understand? So, let me break down this 60-40 thing now for you. Now, technically, based on this document here, the AFC is saying to them, the AFC is making high demands right now. Because if you're talking about 60-40, 40% goes to the AFC and 60% goes to the APNU. Right? Now let me break this down for you now. The 60% is divided between the PNC and the small parties like the Guyana Action parties and the other small parties, which mean that has to be divided in half, which 30% will go to the accumulated small parties, and the other 30% goes to the PNC. So automatically now, the AFC will have the mass majority in the coalition of 40%, while the small parties among themselves have 30 and the PNC have 30. So the AFC now is going to have 40%, and that is why they said that the leader of the list must come from the majority. So therefore, them are setting up themselves to have the position of the leader of the list and the presidential candidate of the coalition. Now, me and Aubrey is not friend, or I assume. But I want to tell, for the matter of fact, I don't have to tell because Aubrey Norton make it publicly. The man said, I don't see anyway or anybody that can replace me. I'm going forward in leading the coalition into regional and general election as the presidential candidate. You understand? So a man that using a prospecting license is making high demands because the AFC only they only hope, or they're hoping, that people that have a ring in their nose and following Azruddin all over the place will automatically listen to Azruddin, and Azruddin is going to say to them, oh, y'all support the AFC because the AFC is me. You understand? So Mr. Hughes is now sitting there and hoping that he can have, or he can suck Azruddin blood. You know, his resources and investments and his time and everything, he will work hard and then give it over to the AFC. So I want persons to understand this. And that's why I keep saying to you that should that be the position that he cannot contest, that is what is going to happen. He's going to tell you, show your support behind the AFC. And woe be unto you when you throw your support behind the AFC. You will be led to the slaughterhouse. Because accumulating what they have, let me tell you something. The AFC right now is like a blank shot. They don't have no support base. Look, they come to Linden here and they had a meeting on the Ward Park. If it had 25 people there, look, I ain't joking. I ain't making no joke. I ain't kicking off for nobody. I'm talking serious business. I was there on spot. And they had a meeting in Linden here on the Ward Park. And if there were 25 people that come out there, they had enough. I'm telling you this, I have photographs of it. These people feel in the way all over, but they don't have a support base. Now, how could you want to come into my house? You're not contributing anything. You don't bring anything. But you want to come and make demands. Arby Norton, right? Stand your ground, Arby. You're going to upgrade as a good opposition leader in 2025 and beyond. You might do better in opposition again. Your status as opposition leader might excel. So stand your ground. Don't let Nigel come and tell you that he got to be presidential candidate. You understand, Aubrey? You're doing a good work there as president, as the leader of the PNC and the APNU. You're doing a good work there. I tell you, Aubrey, I praise you for that. Stand your ground, Aubrey. You got this man coming and tell you. You got Nigel come and tell you he want be presidential candidate. After all the years of hard work, after all that Aubrey would have been through, Granger through the car and all kind of the grungy and all kind of thing. Now the man worked hard to make leader. Now the man worked hard to become leader of the party. Now heading into the regional general election as presidential candidate. Now you got a newbie, according to Bar Jack Deal. You pop up and you want the man position as presidential candidate. Nah, man, you something definitely wrong with you, Nigel. Uncle Nigel, I think, Aubrey, you're doing the right thing by stand your ground. You work hard for your thing. Don't let nobody come and feel like they could take your thing. Let me tell you something. Apart from the 60% that Nigel used and the AFC is given to the coalition, because apparently easy calculation, man. Let me tell you, the small parties have been dogged out. Not only the AFC like they forget what PNC do them. Dog them out completely. You understand? They forget that the PNC cruel them and they still got the belly to go and collate with the PNC. But apart from them, let me point out a very important small prize party, as they used to call them. A very important and critical party in the coalition, which is the Guyana Action Party. I was elected as the General Secretary of the Guyana Action Party. You understand? And the Guyana Action Party, apart from, yes, the AFC collate and bring a couple of votes, but the key party that helps put the APNU AFC or give them the victory in 2015 was the Guyana Action Party. Because for the very first time in 2015, the PNC or the coalition would have won Region 9 by a couple of votes. That is history. Just a couple of votes, they would have won. And that is because of the critical input by the Guyana Party, who has, or at that time had, the full support of the indigenous people, especially in Region 9, being led by Sidney Alikap. And if you ask me how I can prove that, it's because Sidney Alikap was appointed as the fourth vice president and minister of the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, although he wasn't a member of parliament. Now you had a sitting vice president and the Minister of Amerindian Affairs who had no voting power in parliament. And that was because he wasn't on the national top-up list. Right? You have the national top-up list, you have the geographic list, and you have the regional list. But David Granger saw the input of Sidney Alikap, who was a critical leader in the Rupununis, and he said, hey, what happened, Sidney, by you invested your thing, I can make you Minister of Armenian Affairs. And that is why Sidney was disrespected at all levels. at all levels in the coalition. Right? At one time, they called Sydney from Bush to Parado, something like that they call it. And this I want the Amerindian people, the indigenous people of Guyana to understand that Sidney Alicock sitting there as minister, there were many times on many occasions where he had no say. Because we had people like Amna, we had people like Kemraj, we had people like Harmon. These people shows gross disrespect to Sidney Alicock, which technically was a gross disrespect to the Amerindian people of this country. And that is what threw them out in 2020. Because the Amerindian people saw it, that they were used and they were held with a ring in their nose, dragged into the coalition, give the support, put them in power, but still couldn't represent them. And that is what will happen to those people if you decided that you're going to throw your support behind the AFC. It's the same thing. And that is why the AFC is now fighting to be the head of the coalition. Desmond Adams, you need to chill out. Right? You need to chill out. People need to understand the past, because if you fail to understand or realize what happened in the past, you're deemed to make that mistake in the future. So for those people who feel that each one of you gonna get a car like Chopo, right now Chopo bad in a bad, he's the biggest rep for Azrudin. He wants a car bad. Right? Those people who feel that all you are gonna get a Lamborghini, get a car, and you are gonna get money every day. By the time y'all see the Mohammeds appear, y'all gonna get everybody get a 500 or $1 million. Y'all wrong. Right? Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Those are just gimmicks to trap you. Right? I hope that this can meet you in a different way. And those persons who are after and running out in the street, those are persons who are literally lazy, mentally lazy. I'm not saying all of them. I'm talking about the people with that mentality who wants to run out there. Those are the people who don't want to go there to work, but to stretch out their hands. You understand? And if you feel that any government is going to do that, you are wrong. For matter of fact, this is the only government, the AFNLE-led administration, that any one of you in the history of Guyana can say you actually have access to money in your hand. You understand? You get in $100,000 cash grant, $55,000 school grants. You, man, you know, sometimes I think I just be too, like overwhelmed when I think about the developments and the things that people are benefiting from. Y'all tell me which government under the PNC or the APNU have they ever put any money in your hand? Y'all only hear about the money. Y'all hear about the SLED program, but the SLED program wasn't for everybody. They said it was for everybody, but technically it was only for those people of the PNC Even that make them and the AFC fall out because the PNC were given, all the PNC people and the AFC didn't get in. When Charandas going to the community, the people asked who owns the program, Charandas left sailing because why? He had no power. How could I be a member of parliament, an elected sitting member of the parliament, and I have no power? This Lily Prasad, I'm going to take up this comment here. I want to take up this comment. Right? So Lily Prasad is asking, explain to me how a country that have an economic boom, especially in the construction industry, and there's a difficulty in finding employment. Now, Lily Prasad, I want to ask you, is it you that is having the difficulty in finding employment? Because the last I know is that there's a difficulty in finding labor. Right there, Lyndon, you can't even find a man for go and do a little job right now because why? Everybody telling, hey, I'm doing a road in the ward. Hey, I got this, I'm working on this school, I'm working on this drain. Everybody's occupied. So I don't know if you out of job. If you are out of job, you intentionally are out of job. You want to be out of a job. And then the other thing you have to understand, some of you feel that because this is Guyana, this is your country, this is your country, and this is Guyana, some of you feel that you could do as you want. Some of you are not even equipped with the necessary tools, and that is why the government would have created the BIT program so you can have the necessary skill to go there and work. The government created that. Some of them, when they finish their course, are gone out of the country. You understand? The government is preparing you with the necessary tool that you can go there and work. How can I take on a mason and you don't know shit about masonry? Excuse my language. You understand? Some of you want going to the people work 9, 10 o'clock and knock off 2 o'clock. It doesn't go like that, especially when a man have a time limit on a contract. And especially with a man like Bishop Juan Ejil, the man don't play if he shut you off. If the man say your contract is from this time to this time and you can't finish it, he got a really good mood to extend. Or probably based on the weather, he might flex. So y'all don't complain, but y'all ain't getting jobs in the country. That's way of the past. You understand? I can't recall right now nobody crying for jobs right now. More so, I can tell you that contractors crying to find workers right now because everybody occupied. Everybody's occupied. So Lily, I don't know if you getting a problem finding a job, touch base with me. I could help you find a job. Oh. Well, she was being sarcastic. Well, Lily, I'm not attacking you, right? Right? But I'm glad you asked the question, Lily. So for those who are complaining, they can have that answer. So thank you for being, as person say, the devil's advocate. Thank you for that, Lily. I my apologies if you felt attacked in any way, because I know you are one of my followers. Right? So Lily, I like the point that you raised. Because many persons are shouting out, oh, we ain't getting job, we ain't getting work. Bro, in Linden here, I can tell you alone, you can't find workers. Everybody occupied. Look, the other day we were on the road doing a drainage work. And it was brought to my attention by the workers. Someone alarm watch. Like everywhere you watch thing happening, I see truck just passing with steel and cement, BRC, run some in the truck back. It's like a whole day. You can't go and find cement in the ward or no down the road. You can't find stone. You got to order these things weeks ahead to get it now. You know that's why. You know what's the reason for that? That is when an economy is boosting. You understand? So if anybody's gonna come here and say to me tonight that I'm out of a job, you want to be out of a job, and you're hoping that Mr. Azruddin Mohammed can come and be the angel of the day to save you. But how much can he give you? And how long will that last you? Even if he come and say give you a house, how you maintaining the house? You gotta pay light bill, you gotta pay water bill, you gotta find food, you gotta send your children to school. Would he take care of you for the rest of your life? Y'all think through the lines though. Exactly, Rini. Y'all don't think. Yeah, who I wonder which one y'all believe that a government gonna come in power and build house for everybody and give everybody free money and free food for the rest of your life. You gotta work for your things. You don't get it so free, partner. Even if you get a start, who gonna continue it? Because here what? They're gonna give you a start. But when you go back to them, they're gonna tell what man, you don't wanna work your fees every day and give you something. Y'all don't be carried away. Don't be fooled. This government is the government for the country. And I can stand boldly and say that. President Irfanali would have done a tremendous job. He's not perfect. He's a human being just like us. He would make mistakes. But I know in his 5 years tenure as president, he would have delivered quality leadership at least 99.9 and three quarter percent. Leadership unprecedented. If y'all don't know what unprecedented means, those on the other side, it means like never before. Let me tell y'all, I tell y'all something. I could go on and on. I have the energy. I see a lot of people come on here talking about Chow Pao and Hector went on he live and he went on. But here what? My program is not for that. I don't bring junkie on my program. And I don't bring, people who, I don't bring them on my program. I won't even utilize the energy. But here what? Yeah, join me tomorrow. When I go on my normal life, this is when I can deal with them. You understand? I will not bring those things on my program. You understand? My program is highly respected, and I have great respect for each and every one of you here. Even if you don't like me, I still have great respect for you. Because I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to bring the good news to the people. I'm here to bring the truth. But what I know, Sally Jones, but what I know is that the love I receive from each and every one of you here is beyond explanation. And I want to say thanks for your continued support. My brothers and sisters, my fellow PPP warriors, my supporters, my fans, my followers, and also my regular spies, thank you so much for your continued support. I've given you an hour and 24 minutes, almost an hour and a half tonight. And I want to say thank you guys so much for this. Please ensure to share the live, share the program, and let those people talk to those people when they come and they tell you about Mohammeds and Mohammeds and Mohammeds. Yeah, talk to them. Don't cuss them out. I tell you, don't cuss them out. Some of these people, they are tricked. Y'all can remember Glenn Ladd tell him, man, but let them go on the protests and they can be martyrs and they can get. I can't use the word because TikTok you have to be very careful of using it, right? But y'all remember Glenn Ladd tell him, man, but you can be martyrs, and when he die, he picture gonna go up on book and newspaper, and it's like these people got or they look, especially for people who they think or who they assume are stupid and try to mislead them. But thank God for this government who are educating people in every aspect of development, educating them. Free education as well, from university right down. Training programs, scholarships. Which government? Let me ask you, they say before I go. For those who calling the PPP a dictatorship and all these things, which government that wants to be a dictatorship will invest in your education, in giving you an education, in giving you the necessary tool, which is a skill that you can learn and provide for yourself? Any right-thinking president will not give you a fish every day, but he will teach you how to fish. Have a blessed night, and it's a pleasure being here with you once again. See you tomorrow morning. I don't know what time I'm going to go in. I'm going to go live, but y'all look out for me because I have to address the two stray dogs, them two ricey. I have to address them tomorrow, right? I keep saying to y'all, right? I'm saying to my followers here, I would never let y'all hand fall. Yes, I would have made some mistakes in the past, but I've grown to be a mature person. I'm a father, I'm a family man, I love my family. And the one thing I want to leave with you tonight, I will do anything to protect and to feed my family. But some people use your situation against you when they cannot put a ring in your nose and pull you to whatever direction they want you to. Have a blessed night, guys.
We are a peaceful people. Struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble. Just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere. Make no mistake, 'cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one rice, not a blade of grass.